Welcome back to Living Local, creating a community without violence. That is Riverview Center's mission for our area. They work to support survivors of domestic and sexual violence here in the QCA. And today we are talking about how you can make a difference by focusing on consent. And so joining us here in studio today to break down this topic, we have Arianna Grant in this segment, which is sponsored by Riverview Center. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Important discussion to have. Let's talk about this consent. What exactly is it? I'm sure people have maybe heard about it, but how does consent work?
Absolutely. So consent is a lot like permission. It's a lot like giving someone permission, and consent is applicable for all activities, and especially when it comes to sexual activities. So consent, it's definitely something that has to do with permission. So you can give permission, you can take permission away at any point in time. And it's important that we're really communicating with our partners about what's happening during any kind of activity.
Really important piece there. You can take consent away. At what point in time does something become non-consensual?
So non-consensual, it definitely has to do a lot with, are both people on the same page? Are we communicating? Do we have an understanding of what's exactly going to happen? And if that's not true, then that might not be consensual. And so all people should be very well informed about what activities are going to take place. And once that stops happening, that's definitely something that needs to be discussed.
Now walk us through what consent can look like, and whether it be, obviously we're talking about sexual, different things as you are communicating with someone else, but walk us through how that could look for someone.
Absolutely. I love to use the acronym FRIES. That sounds really bizarre, but FRIES, it starts out with freely given. It's not something that's being pressured or something where someone's not really aware what's going to happen. It's reversible. You can take it, you can give it away, and you always have that understanding. It's informed, which means that everyone is aware of exactly what's going to happen, and it's enthusiastic. Both people are excited to be there, as well as specific. So just because you have permission for one activity doesn't mean that you have permission for another activity.
Okay, good thing to note there. Good advice too. Something that people can hold on to, FRIES. Never heard that before, but
I know, it's a fun way to remember it. I teach it to my students, and I think that it's important to start consent early, even as young as childhood, asking people before you touch them, saying, is it okay if I give you a hug? Is it all right that I pat you on the back? And practicing those boundaries and that communication as young as you possibly can.
It'll set you up to have a successful future when it comes to consenting in all avenues of life then. And this is a big pillar of the Riverview Center. Tell us about the services that you provide to people here in the Quad Cities.
Absolutely. So all of our services are 100% free and 100% confidential. We also have programs such as prevention, which is what my role at Riverview Center is. We offer prevention education, as well as we have a really awesome Rockstar volunteer program. But our direct client services include things like awareness and activism. We have medical and legal advocacy, which means that we are there with someone throughout the entire process of reporting, as well as showing up to a hospital, or perhaps they need some help within the court system. We like to advocate and support them as much as we possibly can. We also have things such as therapy and counseling, which is also 100% free. That can be short-term, that can be long-term. We also offer things like crisis resource assistance. So if someone comes to us and they need something like childcare, or perhaps they need help finding transportation or employment, we're going to meet them where we're at. Our main thing is that we believe everyone that walks through our doors, and we do our very best to meet them where they're at.
And that's so important. And you provide services to people on both sides of the river. Obviously, the Quad Cities were unique for having both Iowa and Illinois. Tell us about where people can reach out to you, whether they're on the Illinois side or the Iowa side.
Absolutely. So we have a wonderful thing called our 24/7 crisis hotline. So someone can call that and reach a live person any time of the day or night. We encourage someone to reach out to us on either side of the river. But we do serve 16 counties, 14 of which are on the Iowa side, 2 of which are on the Illinois side. In Iowa, we serve survivors of sexual assault and violence, and on the Illinois side, we serve domestic violence and sexual violence as well.
Okay, good. So a wide variety of services for those who need it most, probably in a time that is so difficult. And that's one last thing I wanted to touch on is if somebody comes to you and they say that they have experienced violence, how can you support them and where should you point them to?
That's a great question. And the one most important thing that I tell people is to listen. Believe someone. Meet them where they're at. It's very important that we don't try to rescue anyone, but that we try to support them where they're at and encourage them to reach out to services such as Riverview Center.
Okay, absolutely. And believing them and supporting them, whatever they need in that time, such important things to share. Well, thank you so much, Arianna, for being here and for discussing a very tough topic, but an important one.
Absolutely, and thank you for having us. I think that it takes every single one of us to create a culture of consent, and we encourage those who are hesitant to reach out to definitely reach out to us in any way they can.
Fantastic. Thank you so much again. Now, again, this segment was sponsored by Riverview Center. For some more information about them, you can check out riverviewcenter.org. And we will also have all of this information posted over on our website, too, at ourquadcities.com. And here are some other numbers as well that you can call if you have been a victim of sexual assault or domestic violence. We will also have all of this information over on our website as well. Living Local will continue right after this break. Be sure to stick with us.